Yeah, Mark, I was going to tell you about this. I went to Zanies and did the New Material Monday and the NATELAND, like Nate Bargatze's NATELAND
Cool.
lab, which was very cool, very fun. But the whole time I was on a diet. So what I did is I brought my lunch, which is
Okay.
I don't think is that weird, even though I've literally never seen a comedian bring lunch to.
Let me ask a question here. All right. First off, we're talking about Nashville. There are multiple Zanies, right?
Yeah.
Nashville, Tennessee. What time is New Material Mondays?
It is late, so it's 7:30. So lunch. I'm saying lunch. It's dinner. It's dinner. Okay.
Okay. A meal. You're bringing a meal.
I brought a meal
to a club that serves food.
To a club that serves food.
Okay.
Which is a bold choice. Now,
yeah, I couldn't scarf it in the car.
I couldn't scarf it in the car. I drove down there with a friend of mine, and I felt weird about because I didn't want to share.
Felt weird about breaking bread solo on the drive, but comfortable with staff and comics all around.
All around.
Don't mind me. Don't mind me.
Don't mind me.
Can I borrow that tablecloth? Let me put this on this table here. Excuse me, folks. I need some elbow room.
I asked beforehand. I was like, "Does anybody mind?" Because I haven't told you my meal yet.
Okay. Now wait. Who did you ask?
I asked the other comedians, like Jeff Allen was there.
Right.
Johnny W.
Permission of the comedians. I think it's really the club that would probably care more.
I also asked the producer of the NATELAND Monday night show is Nate Bargatze's sister. Abigail. And so I asked her, "Hey, can I? Is this that weird? Is this super weird? And I shouldn't do this, or are we cool with this?"
That's a funny question to ask. That wasn't really the right question. The correct question would be, "May I bring my meal?" It's obvious. Yes, this is weird, Jake.
Yeah, that's right. This is a weird one, but I'm trying to do low carb stuff. They don't have. I mean, I can get a burger there. I can get a sandwich there. I can get fries, but it's like I don't. Anyway, so I brought my meal, and so I wanted to ask, hey, is this allowed, or are you guys cool with this?
Yeah,
because the meal was tuna fish.
Oh, Jake, this is getting worse, buddy. Oh, this is terrible. Holy cow. This could be the last episode. Mark and Jake did not make it. Did not make it, Jake. Torpedoing his career with a submarine made out of tuna salad, no bread.
No bread. I had leaves. I had like lettuce leaves that I was eating it with, and pork rinds.
And really, you couldn't just sneak outside to the curb and
eat it like a raccoon?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you're already. What are you eating this with a fork and knife?
I have a fork. I have a little bowl. I brought the little fork, and I'm like shoveling it in.
Unreal. I'm embarrassed for you and for the podcast, and
I'll use the
brought shame upon your family line with this tuna.
I'll use the pork rinds as chips and the tuna fish.
It's getting worse. Unbelievable. We're losing subscribers by the second with this story. Next, you're gonna say, "Oh," and I projectile vomited, and I was like, "Is this weird?
Is this weird? This isn't weird." But so it was. I felt a little weird about it, but then I also am like, "This is ultimate confidence." I mean, comedy is about confidence, and there is nothing more confident than a grown man.
Let me ask, how many people went on stage and talked about the tuna?
0. So that's good. Yeah, that's I did go a little bit later. I didn't bust it out immediately. I didn't walk in the green room and been like, "All right, it's tuna time." But yeah, so I mean,
tell me about this. I don't know about New Material Monday. Tell me more about it. It's late. Abigail's running it. What is it?
Well, no. So there's 2 shows going on at the same time. So Zanies in Nashville has 2 rooms, and it's in the same building.
Recently, right? They used to only have 1 room, right? Yeah, exactly. So they added the second room.
And so one of the rooms is called the Lab at Zanies, and the other is just called Zanies. And New Material Monday is that's the idea. A lot of locals, people traveling through, do a set, whatever. and then the lab happened at the same time. The lab is clean. They typically have a little bit longer of a set. I mean,
always like every show at the lab is clean.
Every show for NATELAND Presents is clean.
Okay,
so it's called.
There are other shows that are not produced.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Did he pay for the lab? Did he buy the lab outright?
Well, so here's the thing, and I don't think I'm speaking out of turn here, because it's just right there. The studio that Nate records.
Oh yeah.
Like the super obvious dressed up podcast studio is right there. It is like next to it's next to the green room. I mean, so much so that
maybe he did pay for it, is what you're saying.
Maybe. While I'm eating my tuna fish, Abigail and some of the other comedians are in the studio.
Okay.
And they're just like less than 3 feet away. So
that's interesting. I don't know why I've assumed that was like at his house or something.
Yeah. I think he tries to make it look. I mean, it looks like
he drives into.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Or is driven? I don't know. Helicopter, jetpack. Yeah. I mean, with that kind of money, holy cow, anything is possible.
Anything is possible. Yeah. No,
he can probably get a meal that isn't tuna.
He probably could afford
that meets your strict dietary requirements.
Non-tuna-based news. I'll tell you this thing about Nate. He is a confident man, and he would gladly eat tuna fish around virtual strangers.
Okay. All right. Have you had an office job?
Have I?
Yeah.
Well, no, not really. I was a teacher for a long time. This is
definitely, well, teachers count. They got a break room or whatever.
Yeah, there's a break room.
There's a civility, my good friend.
There's a power.
There's some unwritten. I know you don't like the unwritten rules in baseball, but in the workplace, there are some. We talked about it last episode. We're down on spousal abuse. We're down on gross smelling food in a community area. Keep it in your car.
I don't think it's. Maybe I'm nose blind to it. I'm okay with that idea, but I'm not. I mean, it's not like.
Come on, Jake. You got to admit, you held on to the tuna like it was a punchline. So let's be honest here. Let's be honest. You knew there was something wrong with that tuna.
It's also the.
Caught you in a fib.
The form of that meal is awful, right? It is not. You can't look cool eating this. It's not a quick. It's not, a sandwich or a burrito or something that's handheld.
Tuna, what do you call tuna in a can? It's called because tuna, if you go to like a fancy seafood restaurant, you can look civilized eating tuna.
Yeah. But you would be nice.
Like canned tuna is like, what would you call that? Chopped up tuna? There's some fancier word for that.
Yeah, probably. I have never bought anything but canned tuna. So
okay, you can also get sushi tuna. You get tuna on a little bed of rice with some nori. Yeah. That's the seaweed, and so yeah.
All right. So have you? Okay, so let's talk about that. Eating at a comedy club. What is something that you have eaten at a comedy club? So something that provide.
I make cookies, and sometimes we'll bring them to a comedy club. And hand them out to staff and comedians. And so cookies, I've definitely eaten. Homemade cookies. People think that's weird. For sure. Tuna is next level weird.
Tuna is next level. But again, a cookie, you take one cookie, you eat the cookie, you're not worried about, Tupperwares and anything like that. But so you're making cookies and you're handing them out?
Yeah. That's my go-to move. It varies. So like some of the fancier ones, tahini cookies. You probably had some tahini in Israel. You don't know it, but hummus is made with tahini, and it's like ground up some kind of nut paste. I think it's delicious. I mean, it's actually it depends on what it's in, but it can be delicious. In cookies, it gives a real kind of. I would call it like a mature flavor. Like their cookie, like this isn't a cookie a 7-year-old is gonna love.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm big on sea salt.
Yeah, we worked.
Chocolate chip is the most common.
Is the go. We worked a club one time, and a club. We worked.
When you say we, is
me
this
and you?
Oh,
Me and
okay.
you.
The two
We
of us.
were. Yeah, I say club, but I was wrong because it was a barbecue joint. And
Okay. Yeah.
they gave us barbecue. That's always nice when they give
Oh,
you
it was
barbecue.
delicious. Are you kidding me?
Very
Oh,
good.
let's shout them out. Moe's Original Barbecue, everybody.
Yeah.
There could be one in your city. There's
Yeah.
like 50 of them around the country.
Yeah, very good barbecue and very generous portions and keto friendly, so I can partake completely. And so, like, there's some other clubs that sometimes they have food, sometimes they don't. And
I'll tell you this on it feels weird specifying dates because we're getting into the portion of this podcast where we're pre-taping stuff. And so like if I say when I'm talking about specifically, I think it ruins a little bit of the magic. So I'll just say that it was a Saturday night. I just driven back from a road trip and I went to Comedy Works South. Okay. There are 2 Comedy Works in Denver. It's technically in Glenwood Village, which isn't really Denver, but it's a suburb of Denver. It's a big room. And I called in early. I don't know if I was supposed to talk about this publicly. But anyways, I called in and asked for a free ticket. And the show basically sold out. I don't know if you pay attention to Comedy Works, but sometimes on their website, instead of having a buy tickets button, it will say call this number. And that basically means they're close to selling out. I think there might have been like 10 empty seats. Anyways, so I show up. My like go-to move when I get comped a ticket is to show up after the majority of everybody has been seated. So like maybe like 5 minutes into the host set. I'm showing up late.
Yeah.
And so I do believe I might have been the very last person to be sat. And so I kind of with some confidence walked up to the like host stand and said, hey, should I head upstairs? Because they have an upper deck, and that's usually where they stick me when I'm getting a free ticket. And I think this is just me projecting, but I feel like the kid took it as a like, who do you think you are? Like in a split second, he was like, don't tell me how to do my job. And he said, like, Jeremy, go put him at B52 or whatever. They got some code word. And he brought me into the showroom. And I'm in between all these people. And so I felt I don't always get the 2-item minimum when I'm getting a free ticket in a club. I will, if requested, of course.
Sure.
Sometimes I'll just like hand cash to the server and be like, I don't need anything. Thank you so much. I'm going to leave early or whatever. But but this night I was a little hungry and I was like, I'm in the middle of everybody and the show had already started. I didn't feel comfortable saying to the server, hey, I'm a comedian. I'm just hanging out for a little bit. It just didn't feel like the polite thing to do. If that would have felt like bringing tuna into the room.
Yes.
So I said to James, my server, great service. I said, I'll take the fried platter and I'll take a bottle of water. And definitely not healthy, not keto, by the way, no judgment, please. And then he said, oh, yeah, you got it. You're a comedian, right? I've seen you around. And then at that point, I was like, oh, man, I probably could have gotten away with it.
Yeah. But now it's already ordered.
Yeah, it's already ordered. And I was happy to have the food. And saw Gabriel Ruttedge. You ever heard of him?
Yeah. I'm a big fan. Yeah, he's very funny.
Very funny. Kind of interesting. I booked him about a year ago because the owner of Stir Crazy Comedy Club, whenever I go anywhere, I book a lot of shows and I ask other bookers, who's killing it, who's great. Yeah. And he said, Gabriel Ruttedge, every time he comes in here, the place is shaking. He's incredible. And I'd never heard of him. So I reached out, took a while. We made plans. He's like, if you look at his website, he's got bookings like a year and a half into the future. It's crazy. So I found a time that I was able to run shows. He was available. Anyways, long story short, he was booked. And then he was like, you know what? I can't really do this. Things are taking off for me. And to his credit, he was like, let's get on the phone. And he explained it to me. He was very polite. And I was like, okay, that's cool, man. And I kind of like at the time, I was like, what does he mean? Is he about to be on the Tonight Show or something? And then as far as I knew, nothing really happened. But then, boy, was I wrong, because he got a weekend at Comedy Works South, and I saw him basically sell out that room, which very few people do. It was very impressive. Yeah. It was really cool. Yeah. Tell me about your experience with him.
Yeah. He came through Louisville, and he was on the just coming through town. I think he did a one-nighter, and he came through during the open mic, and I was on the open mic. And the Louisville Comedy Club has got a good open mic. It's a comedy club open mic. It's not one of these terrible ones. And my buddy who knew him, he's like, you would really like this guy. And so I wanted him to see me. Okay. And so I asked the host, I wrote a little note to the host and say, hey, I'm on the show already. So all we're doing is moving people around. Can I go right before Gabriel? And I want, because then he would be in the room and he would see me, and he would take me on the road with him, and we'd become best friends and whatever.
You'd have a tuna party.
History. And so I and the host was very gracious, a friend of mine, able to do it, and so I did my set. He said after he did his set, and he did great, and he said nice things to me. I didn't really go much further than that. And then I ran into somehow I don't know how, but I figured out that he wrote a book, and I've been collecting comedians' books. Like I've read your book. What's the name of that again?
Not Good Yet.
Yeah, where can you get that?
NotGoodYet.com, everybody. You get on Amazon, but I'd rather mail it to you if you're going to buy it, because I make way more money.
But so he's got a book where it's basically a diary where he talks about his year, and he like diary entries on this date, on this day, on this day. I finished reading it. It was very interesting. And I sent him a message on Instagram and I said, hey, I read your book, just finished it, thought it was fun. And he said nice words back. But the interesting thing about him is this is probably then 6-8 months later, I think he might have been coming back through Louisville or whatever it was, but the Louisville Comedy Club had like this video, this promo video of him and a special that he released. That's a crowd work special, which I know is your favorite crowd work special. And he named it, What Do I Do for a Living? Instead of What Do You Do for a Living? What do I do for a living? And I have not watched it yet. So I've seen a lot of his stuff, but I have not watched the crowd work special, but I need to. That's
he was he was one of the situations where he was perfect for the audience that was there. Like within the first 5 minutes, he established it was 51 years old. I would say the median age was 55. I mean, so his jokes about, wearing eyeglasses and menopause and like everything that's at that stage of life, he just killed. And people knew him. You could tell that they came because of him. So I was very impressed. Way to go, Gabriel. He's cashing in a little too big for my shows at this point, but neat dude. It's interesting. So it's speaking about like, what do you do for a living? I just watched a movie called, in fact, I got it right here. Have I shown a Laserdisc yet? Here's what a Laserdisc looks like. It's just like a record. This is Punchline. Can you recognize Tom Hanks and Sally Field? Yeah. Unnamed producer back then, 1988, 1989. One of the like classic movies about stand-up. Have you seen any movies about stand-up? No, I got another.
I have. I've seen Funny People, the Judd Apatow movie starring Adam Sandler. That one I really liked. I watched it.
I'm writing that down right now.
Yeah, it's Judd. Adam Sandler is playing almost Adam Sandler. He's pretty close, but Seth Rogen is probably the lead actor in the movie, and so.
I haven't seen it. I'll check it out. That's awesome. Anyways, Punchline. It's they're stand-up comedians in New York City. I don't want to give away any of the plot. People should try and find a way to watch it. probably, I imagine the easiest is to buy a Laserdisc player at an antique roadshow, track down the Laserdisc.
It's always the easiest way.
Find a horse and buggy to go back to your place. I imagine it's probably not on streaming services. I don't know. I have no idea. But anyway, very good movie. But what's interesting is they do, there's a lot of stand-up comedy in it. It's very funny. I mean, very, it doesn't feel super dated, but there is some crowd work. There's a scene where Tom Hanks is the more senior comedian. Sally Field's kind of new. And he's like, you are funny. Your jokes just aren't good yet. And he challenges her. He basically takes her to an open mic club, whatever you want to call it, to get her on stage. Says you can't tell any jokes. So she gets up there and she's like talking to the audience, and she's not doing very well. But eventually she hits on something, and she gets some laughs. But throughout the movie, there's several times where there's crowd work, and you would have thought it was 2025.
Really?
It's like, hey, what's your name? Hey, what do you do for a living? Hey, where are you from? Hey, are you married? And like, in my head, I've heard like comedians who've been doing this for 20 years complain about people doing too much crowd work today. And it's like, so in my head, I thought like crowd work didn't used to be a big part of stand-up comedy. Yeah. But it obviously has always been a big, or at least since the 80s, has been a part of stand-up comedy.
And big enough to be in the movies. I mean, if we're going to try to accurately portray what a comedian is, they have to include crowd work. That's crazy.
But did you know that comics did crowd work in the 80s?
No, I read Don Rickles' book, and
he's all crowd work, right?
All crowd work, but it's like this insult-based crowd work, but it's very like genuine insult-based crowd work. And he is a very odd guy because he's trying to, in the book, describe his act, and it's like, bro, your act is indescribable. Like, it is weird. And like, do you have any jokes? And he's talking about how like going through years of trying to get him, because he was such a big deal on stage that they were like trying to get him in on TV, but they could never capture the magic that is in the comedy club.
Yeah. Here's a fun little tidbit. I often, when I watch a Laserdisc, I'll go to IMDb, look up like trivia and goofs and whatnot. And they mentioned that both Sally and Tom, they brought them to comedy clubs and had them do stand-up during the filming or lead up to the filming. And at one point, this was separately, Tom was on stage, I forget where, but Chris Rock was on the show as well, a very young Chris Rock. Yeah. And Chris Rock has said that Tom Hanks was the funniest person he's ever seen on stage.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
That's wild.
Yeah. Damon Wayans was in the movie. They had like a whole like cast of maybe a dozen different comedians, and they were all real comedians, it turns out. But Damon Wayans is the only one that I recognized as, becoming famous eventually. There's a new stand-up movie coming out. Do you know about this? Like, it was filmed at the Comedy Cellar.
No.
Bradley Cooper, directed it, produced it. He's in it as well. And Will Arnett is the lead. And it comes out this December. It's called Is This Thing On? Which, interestingly, is a line in Punchline.
Yeah.
It's not like at some point one of the comedians is like, "Is this thing on?"
Yeah.
Nah, I don't know if it's an homage back to that, but
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Some other like Chloe Radcliffe. Do you know who that is?
No.
She's a comedian with a mole on her face.
Yes.
Yeah. If you're not watching this, if you're just listening, both Jake and I both made a circular motion with our finger around. We speak sign language at this point.
Yeah.
That's the sign for Chloe Radcliffe. If you got to hold a mic in your hand, and then
I thought you were talking about the old movie. I'm like, but
no. This is a new movie. Apparently, she's in it. Fun Chloe Radcliffe story, which you'll appreciate because you like to crap on New York City open mics.
That's
One of the worst open mics I ever did, Jake, was in Brooklyn, New York. Middle of the day, maybe a 2 p.m. mic. I was in Manhattan, took me maybe an hour with subways and walking. to get there. I think at like commuter time, they have express trains, but then like in the middle of the day, they don't. It's very far from any subway station, so long walk. And I get there, little bar. There is a bartender, the guy running the mic, and I walk in, and that's it. That's everybody. And so I hang out for a little bit, and then this woman comes in with a mole on her face and does 5 minutes to me, the guy running the mic, and the bartender, and is terrific. Like she's like, so I'm like, wow, New York City is incredible. I had the opposite impression you did. I'm like, man, at this crazy open mic, they're really, really good. Like she was so funny. And then I got up on stage, and she immediately leaves. I see her leave. So the audience goes from 3 to 2, which is really just 0. And then on the subway, I Googled her and to see if she was anybody. And she had been on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon.
That's right. Yeah.
And she's doing mics like that. What a crazy buddy. I don't know if circling back to if we're ever going to make it or how you define making it. I think even getting on the Tonight Show doesn't count as making it if you still have to go to open mics like that.
I mean, if that's the part of the process, I mean, if that gets you something.
It's rough. Maybe she lived upstairs or something. Now that I think about it, maybe she lived nearby.
Yeah,
but that's just wild. Yeah. I mean, good for her, right? Still going to those mics.
Yeah. You gotta work at the material. You gotta do it. But I mean, if you don't, I don't know. I had a stretch, and this is gonna sound like bragging because it is. I had a stretch where I was booked like a lot, and I was writing material and wanted to try new material, but I didn't feel comfortable doing. I was doing theaters and I was doing big shows and whatever, and I didn't really feel like it. And then, so like, how do you? And I wasn't the headliner, right? I'm featuring, so I only have a certain amount of time anyway. I don't have huge chunks, and so I ended up kind of trying to sneak one bit in.
Yeah, in the middle.
And you could tell
totally.
I'm like crushing. Oh, and then go back to okay.
I did that during a headlining set the other night, and the joke did not do well, and I made the mistake of addressing it. I just said like, "Oh, that was a new joke," and you could tell. back to the planned material. And I hate when comics do that because half the audience doesn't know. They're not paying attention closely enough.
No.
So once you never want to say.
I think it's fascinating what audience members remember at the end of the set.
Oh, nothing. I can't tell you how many times people have told me, "You're so funny. That joke about salmon was great." And I was not the comedian that told a joke about salmon. It was an obese black woman who told that joke. Like they can't remember. And it's like hypnotism somehow.
For me, there's a couple that they kind of remember. There's one that they really remember.
Okay.
I get one so many times. I mean, probably people will. My closer is really good, and it's kind of shocking, and it hits hard. So people will mention like, "Hey, that one joke that really got me," and that makes sense. But there's another joke that sneaks up on people, and I swear I get a ton. So it's what I do is I talk about being a big guy, and like when I was growing up, I knew I'd be a big guy. I thought I'd end up being a lot more intimidating instead of huggable, and that whatever reason really resonates with people. So everybody, the people come up.
People are just coming out. They're like high fiving and hugging you.
Yes, I have been hugged more. Yeah, on Saturday, a guy wanted a picture with me, like hugging me in a weird way, and the headliner standing right there. He's like, "Does that happen a lot?" I'm like, "More than you would think."
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah.
But you mentioned that you hate it when comedians bail on material.
Well, not exactly bail. but comment on, like, if they address that something's not going well on the show. And part of this is me with my producer hat on. Like, I don't like it if somebody says, oh, the light's too bright, or the light isn't good, or the sound isn't great. Like, just roll with it. It's better for the overall quality of the show and the end result, you know, what people's expectations are of the show afterwards, if you don't address those things. But personally, I don't like it when I address a joke not doing well. And it's one of these bad habits that I have that I picked up from other comics. I see other comics do it all the time. And I shouldn't have done that. I should have just gone right into my next joke, which I was saying last week or the week before about that mystery show where I did the same material and it all bombed to a full room, and then every comic bombed in the same room. On that show, I never mentioned that I wasn't doing well.
Yes. And that's good. I agree. I think that is something that I have a lot of respect for. There is a comedian who came through, and he didn't do well, but he never turned on the audience, and I really respected that he never ever turned on the audience. But what I was trying to get at is, what other habits do you not like the comedians doing? And so here I'm going to start.
Okay.
One of the ones that frustrates me more than any is when there's a small crowd, when the comedian belly aches about there being a small crowd to the people who are there.
Yeah. It's not their fault.
It's not their fault. And you're mad at them for showing up. How dare you show up?
Yeah.
Like, you're mad at the people that aren't there. You're talking to literally the 100% wrong people.
Yeah, you can basically put everything into the same bucket. It's any kind of negativity on stage.
Yes.
Whether it's the audience size, something about the room, the material, anything that's negative. Now, you can talk about the small audience. Like, I do Comic Sense Comedy Club in Boulder. It's a very small room. Sometimes the late show doesn't sell a lot of tickets. I'll crack a joke if I'm hosting about how few people are there. But it's a positive thing. You know, like, I'm being silly and fun, and it's really just addressing something that everybody noticed. Like, in that room in particular, it's really obvious. It's like, oh boy, we could play a pickup basketball game right now.
Yeah.
Like, and not with two teams, just one team.
Yes, that's right.
So, when people get mad, I remember a show I saw at the Laugh Factory in Hollywood, which had Tiffany Haddish on it before she was super famous, but her whole set was basically saying, I'm going to be super famous.
Yeah.
And it seemed kind of weird at the time, but she was very funny, and she was right. She, has since become very famous. But like 3 other comedians just went off on the audience. Like, this is beneath me, basically. Do you know who I am? And nobody knew who they were. And they're like, last week I did a show for 1,000 people, and here I am with 12 of you. And it's like, tell some jokes, dude.
Yeah,
exactly. But that was before I got into comedy. As a customer, it bothered me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Is there any other things that comedians do about their? Here's a question. What about shorts on stage? Are you anti-shorts?
That's so funny. I did a show recently, and the host was wearing shorts, and as a joke, as a bit, I said, I was headlining, and I said, hey, I just want you to know, when I headline, you can't wear shorts on my show. So I have some pants in the car. I'll go get them for you. And I think it's okay. I like, it's funny. I bet a lot of people would guess that I would be against shorts on stage.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just, the reality is sometimes these rooms are very hot. So it's a comfort thing. And I don't know. It doesn't drive me crazy. And I don't put a lot of, I don't rank highly what a comedian looks like dress-wise on stage. They don't need to be wearing a 3-piece suit. I'm more about the material. Are you funny?
Yeah. I might be almost the opposite.
Okay.
I don't think a grown man should wear shorts on stage.
Okay.
And it's more for you're a grown man. What are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
But I also think
what about hold on? What about an open mic?
Open mic? Who cares? That's not a real
who cares? Okay, all right. We're kind of on the same page.
But the on stage, I want the person on stage to think about what they're wearing and at least do it on purpose. They're not wearing this ratty t-shirt or this,
that would bother me. A ratty t-shirt would bother me more than shorts. Because we haven't really said what kind of shorts. If they're like 1970s basketball shorts, maybe that's a problem.
I've seen that. I've seen Daisy Dukes. I've seen cut off Daisy Dukes on a grown man on stage.
That's rough off stage.
That's and so I've heard comedians say something along the lines of you need to dress better than the audience or something like that. And what I think is it's just here's something. This guy's coming on stage. He's put at least a little bit of effort into his appearance. And I mean, you have stage shoes.
Yeah, I'm big on that. I feel like you should, but there's a difference too between hosting and headlining, and
I don't think I would ever wear a suit on stage, but I have considered it because I've
worn a tuxedo.
Yeah,
and in fact, I'm doing a fundraiser coming up this weekend for raccoons. Can't wait to talk about that. For raccoons, wild raccoons that are being rehabilitated. And I'm trying to decide if I'm going to wear a tuxedo. It's like $1,000 a table.
Nice.
To help these raccoons.
We're coming back to Don Rickles. He's wearing a tuxedo when he's doing all of this, and I think that gives him a lot of leeway.
Yeah.
And the pretty much the opposite of this is Rodney Dangerfield, where when he would come on the Tonight Show, he's wearing a nice suit, he's wearing a nice tie, he looks real sharp, and murders. And then when he's doing a nightclub or a comedy club, I mean, the rumor was, I never saw him live, that he's wearing like a bathrobe and like a stained undershirt, and he just looks like a schlub.
Yeah.
And it's one thing for a guy in a suit and a tie to say I won't get no respect. It's another thing for like, well, that's why you don't get no respect. Look at you.
Yeah. It's all situational, and it also depends on how funny you are. Like Sam Tallent famously wears shorts on stage.
Yes, so does Gabriel Iglesias. But Sam Tallent, I think he's doing this on purpose. He looks like a wild man, like what else is he? What's going to say? He dresses in a way to, I think, hide his intellect because he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant,
mm-hmm.
but he doesn't look it. His glance does not say that might be the smartest guy in the room. He doesn't look like that.
Right.
But he really is brilliant. Now, I have given one piece of advice unsolicited. I think that I can remember. And
wait, you did give it to him, or you're about to?
Not to him. I gave one piece of advice to a local guy, a guy who's kind of coming up, starting to get on shows, starting to do a little bit better, doing mostly open mics and competitions and stuff like that. A guy I like, and I said, "Hey, can I give you some advice?" And he said yes, so I did, and it was about his appearance. It was it's like he was wearing like a Pelicans, like New Orleans Pelicans.
Okay, sure.
Shirt, and it was tucked in real tight, and it was super distracting. Like I kept thinking, like, when are you going to talk about the Pelican shirt? Because we're in Kentucky. This is happening in Louisville. Why are you wearing a Pelican shirt? I mean, it seemed weird. And then the next time I saw him, he was wearing like a Carhartt, like button up, just like dark green or whatever, just kind of a plain. And I'm like, you look so much better. You walking on stage, I think you look. I'm now excited to hear from you a lot more, and you're not distracting at all. I think instantly. And I'll tell you this again, another piece of fashion advice. Derek Stroop, he has done the Tonight Show twice. I think he looks 10 times better the second time than the first time. both times he's funny. He's an incredibly funny guy. But
he's got a different wardrobe budget these days.
He had a different wardrobe budget and a different wardrobe. Somebody got into his ear and say, "Hey, wear this instead." And I think it's
good for him.
Good for him.
I'm excited. Yeah. It's funny you say that about a sports team. The host at that Gabriel Ruttedge show had a Buffalo like 80s kind of cool looking jacket, and he happens to be from Buffalo. So I felt like that was okay. Some people say that you shouldn't have any logos on your shirt because it distracts the audience.
Yeah.
You should just have a one color shirt on. I had something interesting happen at that show. A comedian did a version of a joke that I do. So same premise,
so
slightly different angle, but the big punchline at the end, same exact. It'd be like the difference between dirty and dirtier, like basically the same root word in the punchline. And I've been doing that joke for 4 years.
Yeah,
and I was pretty bummed about it.
So are you saying that 5 years ago you stole this guy's joke?
I'm pretty sure his joke or her joke, I won't gender who it might be, is much newer.
So you think it's a parallel thinking, or
I think so. That's what I would say. I mean, it is possible that they saw me do the joke because we're in the same scene, but it's also not super unique and original. It's also like this joke this same year in 2025, I saw another comedian do the same premise. We were on the same show. So I told him afterwards, I was just like, hey, I just want you to know I have a very similar joke to that joke you did about X. I have different punchlines. So I think it's fine. And then he was like, oh, I won't tell it anymore. Because I think he looked at me like a senior comedian or something. And I was like, no, that's not what I'm saying. You can totally keep doing it. Let's but if we're ever on the same show, let's just make sure we both don't do it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
This other one, it's kind of.
It's really, really close.
It's very close. And it's the kind of situation where if he ever saw me do my joke, he would think that I took it from him.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have video recordings of me doing it 3-4 years ago. So
I had a situation which is not quite as similar, but I put a little short doing one joke. I just did one quick little joke on it. So I'm going to talk about 15, 20 seconds. And it gets a big pop, and I put it online. And the joke is, people say I look like my mom. And I know what that meant. It's like fat. They meant fat. My mom's fat. Like, I'm not saying obesity runs in my family because, of course, nothing runs in my family.
Yeah,
that is the joke, right?
Yeah.
And I came up with. I don't remember hearing that anywhere. I feel like I came up with it.
Sure.
And
Louis Anderson?
No.
Okay.
I could not find a real origin, but it was typed up in close enough to those words on Reddit in like 2013.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, I'm not saying obesity runs in my family because nothing runs in my family. And it wasn't like attributed to a comedian. It was just like some guy telling a joke.
Yeah, it was like a meme.
Yeah, you could see it like a meme, like a street joke, sort of thing. And so I'm like, well, dang, that's a good laugh line that I came up with that now I can't say anymore. So
yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Would you do it on a longer set somewhere, like if it's not being taped or whatever?
I haven't done it since I found out. So I was, I was going back and forth in the comments a little bit, and I was like, I honestly have not found out. I don't think I'm stealing this from anybody. I remember writing it and whatever, and then I did enough research to find out. Oh, okay, yeah, it is. Someone else did tell it.
I wonder if there's a way to take advantage of that in the sense that people can probably predict that punchline, especially if you give them a long enough pause. So if you could say like, hey, obesity doesn't run in my family, but after my 23andMe test, turns out she's not family after all. Or, something like just take it in a totally different direction, because everybody's going to be thinking he's going to make a running pun.
Yes.
I'm not saying that's the best version of it, but that you could take advantage of it.
That's interesting. Yeah, I could
from a negative to a positive. That's what we're doing here on Mark and Jake Try to Make It.
I could revisit that one for sure. That's interesting.
There we go. That's what we're doing. We're giving ideas.
No.
You drive around the country a lot. You ever see sunflowers in the median in the summer?
In the median? I don't ever remember seeing them in the median. No.
It's like my favorite thing recently. I've seen it in Colorado, Utah. When I drove to Virginia and back, I probably saw it in 2 or 3 different states. And I don't know how it's happening. If there's like a Johnny Appleseed that's just throwing out sunflower seeds out their window, or if the birds are pooping out the sunflower seeds and they're just very happy in that grassy median. But it's really cool to see like a mile of sunflowers.
Yeah.
Very pretty. It's nice.
That's interesting. Yeah. I mean, sunflower seeds are pretty common, but I mean.
Oh, yeah. Maybe people are just eating them and spitting them out. Do those do those turn into plants?
I don't know. I mean, they're not, a lot of them are like ranch flavored, so those can't turn into plants. I think it's funny that so far your two most favorite things, I'm going to point something out to you, are laser discs, which are big, round, and flat, and sunflowers, which are big, round, and flat.
Well, there could be a Freudian reason.
Yeah. There it is.
The center of the let me show you what a laser disc looks like in the center. Well, it's hard to open that up.
I've never seen a laser disc.
Oh, well, okay, then I will open it up.
I do have. It's funny that you have a laser disc within arm's reach, because I have a VHS tape within arm's reach.
Oh, let's see it.
Yeah.
What we got? Is it something? Is it your tape?
No. So I bought it at a thrift store. Because of the name of it. Wow. So it's like shiny, and
it's like an enormous CD the size of a record. Oh boy, you can see my computer there. You guys just got a little glimpse inside the studio.
Wow, that is. And there was 2. So it was one.
Yeah. So this is it's not really the best technology for a number of reasons. But there are some advantages. The sound is outstanding, and some would say even better than like a Blu-ray DVD sound. And there are some laser discs that are like the theatrical cut of a movie that no longer exists, like Star Wars, like Han shot first.
Yes.
You can actually see that on a laser disc, and there's like 10 other examples of that. But so they're 2-sided, and the fancier Laserdisc machines auto flip. So 45 minutes into the movie, the screen just goes black and you hear this grrr, and the laser like flips upside down and starts playing the other side like 20 seconds later. And then the movie continues. So there's like a break. But this particular movie, you got side 1, side 2, and then side 3. There's no side. The side 4 is blank. It's empty. So to go from side 2 to side 3, you have to stand up, walk over, open the machine, take out the old disc, put it in the new disc. And like The Godfather is like 8 discs or 8 halves.
I remember talking about VHS. The only VHS that I ever remember being 2 VHSs, one movie, 2 VHS, is Titanic. That was like this weird box. I've seen that box a bunch. But I was at a thrift store and I bought this. It's a movie I've seen and I like, but I mostly like the title. And it's John Wayne's Big Jake.
I think I saw that on Laserdisc. I almost bought it for you. If I see it, would you like it if I find it again?
Yeah.
Okay, if I see it again.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of it's a good movie. And
I'll watch it first and then I'll
it's also
ship it to you or I'll hand deliver it.
It's fantastic.
All right. Well, keep an eye out for those sunflowers. Let's see what else we got. Oh, I went to Mountain Home, Idaho.
That's right.
We did this Bee's House, real fun, little tiny like jazz bar. So it had like a stage with a piano on it and a drum kit. and a rose gold microphone. It was something else. Only 8 people in the audience, which made it a little difficult. But shout out to I wanted to shout out Mountain Home Idaho. Real big fan of them, and Sean, who owns that Bee's house. Everybody, next time you're in the middle of nowhere, Idaho, please go check that out.
Yeah. Yeah. I worked with a comedian recently. I was going to get your thoughts on this because he kind of told me a little bit of his story. It's Zoltan Kazazis or something like that.
Zoltan's a big deal. We talked about him last week a little bit.
Very, very fun guy, very interesting, very generous guy, funny, of course.
Can I just say something real quick?
Yeah.
So a couple weeks ago, I talked about doing a room where everybody was eating it, despite like a big audience. The only time I ever did a show with Zoltan. Everybody I ever meet says Zoltan is the funniest person ever.
Yeah.
But the only time I ever worked with him was at the Madhouse in San Diego. I don't know if you've ever done that room. It is so weird. It's an old Hard Rock cafe that they turned into a comedy club. It's got this absurdly strange stage, and there was like 20 people there, but they could fit like 300. Yeah. And the 20 people were either blackout drunk or from a different country, didn't pay for their tickets. Basically, almost everybody ate it, including Zoltan. Yeah. You know, like he was a last second switch and supposed to be a big deal. I was just kind of like, who is? Yeah, it's no big deal. But it was really that room that stunk. That specific night. But anyways, okay. What's the question about Zoltan?
So he started comedy. He told me he started comedy at 19.
Okay.
Yeah, and so he's I guess he's getting close to 38, or might already be 38, because he was saying
almost 20 years in.
This year is going to be 19 years. I'm like, that's half your life you've been doing stand-up comedy. But starting at 19, that seems ridiculous. Now I started at I don't even remember. So 32, 31, something like that. Okay. Which I don't love. Like that's a regret
because it's late.
Because it's late. I would have liked to have started a little bit earlier, but I don't know about 19. That seems.
Yeah, I mean the common thing. I mean Denver has had 16-year-old comics.
Yeah.
You hear about like Dave Chappelle started at 14. Matt Rife, I've heard started at 14. I've seen a 12-year-old on stage in LA before. And pretty funny. Like, I mean, he told some pretty dirty, like masturbation jokes that they killed. Like, I couldn't tell that same. It wouldn't be nearly as funny if I told that joke. But for a 12-year-old to be that honest on stage was hilarious. But the common thing is that there's like, you don't have enough life experience. You don't have anything interesting to talk about. But I don't know if that's true. Now that I say that thing about the 12-year-old, like the 12-year-old has a unique angle. And 19-year-olds, they do have, I mean, there are things they can talk about. Like Denver had, I forget his name, he did Vail Comedy Festival. I'll look it up in a second next time you're talking. But he would tell, he was a high school student, and he would tell like school shooter jokes that were so funny coming from him. They wouldn't be funny from anybody else, but from him, it was very funny. So I think anytime, but I will say you gotta there's some logistics around comedy, and we've talked about money in comedy before, and you gotta you can't start at 16 and be like, oh, this is gonna buy me a house someday.
That's right.
It's basically impossible.
Yeah.
You got to buy that house with other money.
That's
and then
right.
Come into comedy. You got to have a different plan. You can't be all in on comedy from 14.
Yeah. And that's part of what I was thinking about is the logistics of, having to travel to these places, having to, you run at a loss for such a long time in comedy, where, festivals and gas money, and you're getting paid, if ever, sometimes you're getting paid, a couple of bucks here and there, and not worth it. So you have to have some. And I was always thinking about, some of the guys that are in the scene, some of the guys I know that are kind of coming up, and like, wow, to do all of this and, have no money. Like, I'm fortunate enough to, like, I'm not dead broke. You know, if the booker doesn't pay me, I'll still be able to afford rent. You know, like that's not even close to an issue.
Yeah, exactly. Noah CL was the name.
Yes.
Everybody check him out.
Noah.
Famously opened for Ralph Barbosa at Comedy Works downtown for a sold out weekend. And he was like on this rocket ship. And I honestly don't know what happened to him. I haven't seen him in maybe a year.
What happened to Noah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen. I had a friend who in the Denver scene who was like, "You got to see this guy." Ended up booking them and
so funny.
Send me a video of him, and he is very funny.
Yeah.
But so there's the logistics, but I also thought about this. I thought about like a relationship, and I think there's a big difference between getting married and you're a comedian and being married and then becoming a comedian, right? Like,
yes,
there's a huge difference between those two. And if you start at 19, every relationship is going to, oh, what do you do for a living? Or what's your biggest passion? Or what do you want to do with your life? You're always going to have to go comedy. But, like I was a grown man and married and had a real job and all of this, and then was like, well, let's start telling jokes.
Yeah. Well, Jake, do I have a movie for you? It's the 1988 hit Punchline. One of the big themes is like, I don't want to spoil anything, but somebody has a family and somebody is a loner kind of character, and that's definitely like one of the through lines of the story. You'll definitely like it. You should check it out. In fact, I have what do you think about doing some movie homework? Let me pitch you on something.
Okay.
You know who Joe List is, right?
Yes.
Famous comedian. Made a movie with Louis C.K. called 4th of July. He recently made his own movie, directed a movie called Portrait of a Comedian. It's about, I forget who the guy is called, but you can buy it on punchup.live and stream it for $5. What do you say we both buy it and watch it, support Joe and people making films, and we can talk about it on the next episode. What do you think?
That sounds fun. That sounds,
okay. All right, cool.
Good time.
Nice. All right. So if you're tuning into this and you don't want any spoilers, if you're listening to every episode, you go out and buy it, punchup.live or Google Portrait of a Comedian, $5, and watch it, and we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, we got to start winding down. What else do I have here? Just a pro tip for those of you folks sleeping in your car. I stepped in a Walmart parking lot recently, and boy, is that convenient when you wake up if you need to buy anything. So unheralded benefit of sleeping in a Walmart parking lot. I needed body wash, which I think we talked about in a recent episode. And I got up, and boy, was that confusing, Jake. I wanted to be in and out. I had like a 5-hour drive ahead of me. Yeah. I had analysis paralysis. I was there for 15 minutes and I picked the worst body wash. Man. It was awful. What a terrible experience. Yeah. There had to have been 70 different flavors, fragrances. Yeah. What do you call it? I mean, I was tasting them. My mouth got very dry.
If you're tasting them, then there's flavors is the right word. Yeah. Yeah. I have had one body wash for a long time, and I'm not planning on changing it.
Okay. Yeah, it was. Boy, what a surprise! It was like being in the Oreo aisle, where they have like 35 different kinds of Oreos. It's like, what is going on? Who is this for? Why are there so many? And I was going back and forth. Do I get the cheapest? Do I get I'm going to have this bottle for years because it's just for my gym bag. Yeah. I maybe shower at the gym 20 nights a year. It's not like an everyday kind of thing. Anyways, what else? Do I have anything else to talk about? I'll save Park City for next time. Laura Dern is in the this thing on Jurassic Park. Oh, we got to figure out a way to, like, every once in a while in an episode, we'll be like, we can't remember something exactly. Like, remember Garcia You thought it might be Jerry Garcia, the actor. It's Andy Garcia.
Andy Garcia.
I feel like in the notes or something, because I'll figure it out later, and I should put it in the notes so that people who are watching or listening to the episode can get that update. We didn't really have anything in this episode. No SEL, but I looked it up.
Yeah,
so episode.
We figured it out.
I guess the only other thing I had was we'll end it on a funny thing. This is funnier. Trying to write a new joke about, I was on the highway in traffic the other day, and one of these like horse trailers behind a truck was next to me. It's got the horse sticking out through the prison bars, which is, funny, but also kind of sad. You put down your window and you're like, it stinks out here. I got to put my window back up. But this horse's nostril is the size of my head.
Yes.
And he's in traffic he's going to die of carbon monoxide poisoning. Yeah. I don't know how he's doing it, but maybe something about eating the hay, or because sometimes you can see him eating the hay, and sometimes there's like two of them in there. You ever see that?
Yeah, no, I've seen that and it's weird, because it's not a flattering angle. I mean, they're not in there with like any class. They're in there and they are, it's like, we're just shipping this guy. I mean, we don't care about his feelings.
Just it does not look,
and
it's gotta be a fun experience, right? To go like 80 miles an hour when the highway opens up.
Yeah.
Because I don't think how fast can a horse go? 30 maybe?
Yeah, maybe 30 or 40, but not 80 for sure.
That's the kind of thing we could put in the notes. If we ever had a producer, I don't think we'll ever have a producer, but if we had one, that's the kind of thing they could look up. But that's what you get on Mark and Jake Try to Make It. You can look it up yourself and be like, I'm smarter than Mark and Jake.
That's right. And
I can wear shorts on stage because
I'll eat tuna fish whenever I want, and I know the land speed of a horse. So
all right. Well, hopefully I don't get eaten by a raccoon at this upcoming gig.
Yeah.
And, you got anything else you want to share?
Just doing a few shows, trying to book for the old corporate season. So I've got a couple that are coming up that are real nice. Got the deposits in the mail, which is always very fun.
What's corporate season? Are you talking about holidays?
Holidays, and sometimes I've booked a lot in like September or October. It's basically people think
when the leaves are changing. To Jake, corporate season is when the leave. To Jake, anytime a check comes in the mail, it's corporate season.
Well, I'm thinking, I honestly think it's just not summer, because everything is nothing during the summer.
Yeah, summer stinks.
Fall and spring,
summer stinks, especially if you're a horse in a trailer in a traffic jam.
Or if you're eating tuna fish.
Unless there are a lot of sunflowers around.
This smells fantastic.
Are not very fragrant, I don't think.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm Mark Masters. You can check me out at markmasters.co. Send a note if you need somebody coming to your town, be it Soda Springs, Idaho, or Blacksburg, Virginia, anywhere in the country. I'll go check out Mountain Fresh Comedy Festival, mfcomedy.com, coming up in October 2025. Big Jake Hovis will be at that festival.
That's right. And you can go to bigjakecomedy.com. You can fill out the little thing. Book me for your corporate event if it involves quesadillas. I have a lot of quesadilla-based jokes, so you're going to love those.
Okay. Fantastic. We'll see you next time, everybody.